Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sandbox Saturday stream. I am Alex Florez, aka Kamisazi, joined here in voice, mind, body, and soul by the legend Lucas is right. How you doing, Lucas?
Hey everyone, I am amazing today. How are you?
I'm doing all right, and we've got some special guests on the show today. I'd like to welcome John Heater. He's known for his iconic character Napoleon Dynamite, as well as starring alongside Will Ferrell in Blades of Glory. Over the past 20 years, he's acted in dozens of movies and TV shows, as well as voice acting for programs like Robot Chicken, The Legend of Korra, and Pickle and Peanut. Also joining us is Justin Winters, a Hollywood writer and producer and CEO of Verified Labs, a Web3 entertainment company that is bringing Hollywood talent to the metaverse. Together, they launched NFT project The Order of the Tigons on Theta blockchain, and have now brought Tigons to the Sandbox with the help of Lucas's team at Voxel Ocean. So welcome, guys. Thanks for being on our show.
Thanks for having us.
That
cool
was
graphic
all
behind
accurate.
you. What's Lucas's graphic? Is he
I
going to
believe
get a
so.
graphic there?
He's in a green swamp. He's stuck.
He's just in a green swamp. It's an actual green screen over green screen. I wonder if that's ever been done.
So for those who are watching the stream, what John and Justin see is a
that's right.
Zoom feed. Yeah. On the actual live stream, Lucas is floating over the floor of Tigonia here, but we're doing
that's
it in,
right. That's
we're
right.
fixing it in post. But
Oh,
post
check
is
out that
live.
yak that's licking his ear. Look at that.
Mm.
That's incredible.
It's a little uncomfortable. I've asked him to stop, but he will not. He is insatiable.
All right, so right now, live on the Sandbox is Tigonia Forever for Infinity. You can check that out from the dashboard right now. We're actually going to put a link for that in the chat, so you can play along with us if you want. It is a single-player experience, and it's got a lot going on, so you'll be there for a little bit. Ice Pilot in the chat says, vote for Pedro. Yes, indeed. I did vote for Pedro. I have also gotten away with a lot by having a mustache at a younger age. And also on the dashboard right now, Tigonia Forever for Infinity does have a sale of assets live. So if you want to grab some Tigons on Ethereum, you can grab those as well as things like wizard's hats, karate gi pants. You could do a roundhouse kick to somebody's head with those bad boys on.
Don't forget the bunnity, the half bunny, half manatee, because that one is a crowd pleaser.
Oh yes, that one is in here. Where'd that go?
One of my favorite items in there is the Tigon arm.
Is it just an arm you hit people with?
Yeah, it's an old Tigon arm. It fell off in a battle somewhere, and it's now a weapon because sometimes you need to pick up remnants of an old dude to beat a new dude.
A detached arm is always a good weapon, whether it's the apocalypse or not. So, yeah.
But I mean, if it is the apocalypse, don't you think that really sends an important message?
Mm-hmm. The bunty does have an adorable face. It is quite cute.
There is a running gag with dismemberment in the world of Tigonia and how it's not as impactful as it would be to us humans on Earth.
Okay.
I mean, if it grows back, then yeah,
they lose body parts. I have a guy right now, a little bit of a spoiler for future stories, but I have a guy right now who I've even told Justin, he's
breaking news.
Not supposed to keep any secrets from me, John. So this better be good.
Oh, we have a character who's headless, straight up headless.
Okay.
And
is he not much of a talker?
Extremely hard to communicate, but they still incorporated him into their gang. And he makes it work somehow.
It's very inclusive.
Life will find a way.
John, I know that you remember all of our conversations, including this one, because you did tell me about this headless creature.
Okay. I get excited because you're the only one, so I feel like I haven't told anyone.
I know everything.
Okay.
You're just the most important of the ones.
I'm going to write a tell-all at some point. Yeah, the headless creature is genius.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see how we incorporate that.
Yeah.
So one of the things we wanted to do today was we kind of wanted to give people this full experience from beginning to end, from start to finish. And by finish, I mean like where we currently are, because obviously Tigonia isn't done. But you know, I know John and Justin. We've worked together for a while now. Being a part of Voxel Ocean, I've had the pleasure of like kind of chatting with you guys a lot. So I ask questions that I obviously already know the answers to. It's not for me, it's for them. But obviously, it's for me because I'm super selfish.
You're saying you don't want to be mercilessly roasted for repeating yourself.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I know it'll happen, but it's
Sure.
you know, at least to tame it down a little bit. I'm a fragile butterfly. But yeah, so John, you told us a story a while ago about how you started Tigons, and I know maybe back in the day it kind of went by a different name. Can you tell us again, like how you and your brother came up with Tigonia? Because that story is a lot of fun.
Well, it all more started with Justin actually gets credit on this one because when he came to me about starting this NFT project, he we discussed. You know what, Justin? Maybe I don't remember did you mention Tigon, the idea of Tigons, or was I like, well, what if we wanted to do something that kind of called back a little bit to my drawing style.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, well, actually not everybody knew, but obviously famous for having done Napoleon Dynamite. But what a lot of people didn't know is the drawings in the film were mine. I did the drawings myself. And I like to take credit, not just obviously for the drawing, but really that world, that style of drawing. Because, when I shot the movie, I told the director, Jared, I was like, I love, like, I'm going to do the drawings. You don't have to get someone else because this is me. This is me growing up. These are the kind of characters. I loved hybridizing animals. I liked doing magical, mythical beasts. Like, this is so me. So it really was like, a co-creation for Jared and I when we did the Liger. And when Justin came to me, he really was like, what if we did like a series of drawings that like all kind of one creature? And I think he might have mentioned the Liger or something. Maybe he mentioned Tiger. I was like, well, we could do like the opposite. It's a male tiger and a female lion and do a Tigon. And draw it similarly, but actually still very different. Like it technically has no connection to the movie, but still kind of playing with that idea. And then it really kind of took off from there because I felt like, well, this is just tipping the tip of the iceberg of what I did growing up, which is my twin brother and I, we grew up drawing and creating comics. And we used to have, it was like this almost like a booklet, a sheet of paper we called the monster making machine that we would do for our younger brothers. And we draw all these we'd have like basically on the sheet of paper, we'd have like a line of different eyeballs, different kinds of eyes, different kinds of noses. And we draw them all out, every single different kind of mouth, hair. And then we give our brother a sheet like, all right, you got to choose one of each. And then I would create, we would create the monster using all these things that they chose. And that's really was kind of the idea. Like, all right, we're going to create this Tigon. And it's kind of like it was that same vibe where I created all these different assets, different characteristics. And then with the help of, Justin, what's their names again? With the help of
Voxel.
Jim.
Oh yeah.
Jim and Wendy.
Yeah.
Jim and Wendy.
Yeah, Jim and Wendy.
Generative NFT.
Generative NFTs.
Yeah, generative NFTs. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Jim and Wendy helped us, kind of do the whole, the coding process of generating those randomly. And so really, yeah, that's kind of how it started. That's what you're kind of alluding to, correct?
Yeah,
Lucas?
absolutely. What I wanted to get to was the part where you talk about how the fact that you and your brother had the monster manual or the monster book where you would assemble these things. Because, like that's kind of what generative NFTs are now is, you design all the different parts and then the computer puts them together for you. And so you were really doing generative work before generative work was generative work.
Yeah. And my kids, and I had on my iPad, where I did all the drawings, I had every single, I have all those original files. And so my little kids, my daughter, she would be like, I want to make a new Tigon. So she'd sit in my lap and she'd choose every single thing that she wanted. And they looked psychotic, but you know, she loved it. And so I would sit there and put it together. So she has a couple of her own little, they're worth nothing because they haven't been minted. But to her, they're priceless.
Priceless.
I was gonna say that's as a father myself, my daughter's drawings are priceless to me.
Yeah.
Not to make anyone jealous, but if you knew how many of these drafts of Tigons that I have that you've sent me, John,
Yeah.
Someday they'll probably have to be minted because they'll be collector's items. Let's take it back a second here though, because a few minutes ago when John was like, I think Justin might have come up with this. Whenever he said that, I'm going to take full credit for all of it. So, you know,
go for it.
No, I knew, you know, John and I have been friends.
I'll give Justin all credit for plagiarizing Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, no problem.
Nice.
There's a little bit of truth to that statement, but I think, what is it? Good artists borrow, great artists steal, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're going for greatness. Right,
that's going for greatness at all times.
What do legendary artists do?
But John and I have known each other for over a decade. And I mean, I know John obviously is a very talented writer and creator and actor, but also as an artist. And I was very aware that the artwork in Napoleon Dynamite was done by John. And so kind of one of the first things that did cross my mind was, is that type of artwork accessible to us? But obviously, you know, the Liger is owned by Fox, and we're not about to go try to get the rights to anything like that. But I did.
We were never interested in.
Not interested, no. But I think what it was, to your point, John, is what you were saying is like you told Jared Hess, the director, like, I want to do the art for the movie, and that was a style of art that was, you know, you were passionate about, that had been kind of yours and Dan's as you'd grown up and created it. So I think it was just about exploring that. And the first kind of in, to John's point, was creating, you know, a big cat that was the Tigon, the tiger and the lion hybridized. And so, yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what John did. John, you did over 200 of those Tigons and the assets that we created a generative for, which was pretty incredible. So yeah, that was the first thing that went out, and that went on the Theta blockchain. You know, we sold out over 5,000 of them, I think, generated 7 figures and built a community, a strong community. And I think really why we continued to build off of that initial drop was just because there was demand for the community. This wasn't a one-off for us. It wasn't like short-term play. It was thinking we did have a roadmap, and actually, believe it or not, as part of that roadmap was, how do we take this 2D NFT of the Tigon and bring it to other areas for consumption, for entertainment? And the natural progression for that was looking at a metaverse, you know, and looking at the Sandbox, ultimately teaming up with Lucas and Voxel Ocean. And it's crazy to believe, but Lucas, we first reached out to you guys in January of last year. So it's been almost 16 months. And whenever John and I were on a panel 2 weeks ago at NFT NYC, and I think John was like, yeah, you know, we've been working on this for a year. We've actually, John, you and I have been working on this for almost 2 years. It's great because time just like flies like that. But it's super exciting to have gotten it to a place, not to get ahead of ourselves, but to have launched Tigonia Forever for Infinity. And that's just the beginning. Like, you know, Lucas, we've talked about this, more experiences it will create, also talking about the animated series and a lot of things beyond that. So
an animated series for Tigonia.
Yeah, for all of this.
It's a year and a half, Justin, not 2 years, a year and a half.
Well, I'm going to say it's a year and 7 months, and then I'm going to say
we're
7 months is closer to 2 years than to 1 year, and then I'm just going to say 2 years. Close. I
mean, rounding up. Gotta.
I mean, we started.
That's what great artists do. They round.
It's exactly. Yeah. It's all about the story. It's optics. Yeah.
Well, it's a wonderful story. I mean, we've had this conversation a couple times in different meetings, and I never get sick of it. And every time we talk about it, a few new details come out, and every time it just gets more and more interesting. You guys' relationship is really it's such an organic one, and it shows every time you guys engage or interact.
Well, it was also, you know, just to give you even a little bit more of a background of like when we first started it, and I made the initial drawings, it was such a weird, organic, slow process to get to where we ended up. We weren't with Theta in the beginning. We were looking at other companies, and every day, or it was at least every day or week, it was like they come back. All right, we're going to be working with this company. Just scratch that. Next week, we're going to be going with this company. And then it was like, John, can we have, all we need is like 12 drawings. John, could you give us like 50 drawings by end of week? Okay, John, by the end, by Christmas, we need X amount. Like, it was always adding more. And then they had, and I'm going to give them, I will forever give them crud on this, but I also understand because this is like new. But they had these guys, the original guys who were going to do the generative process, were like drawing their own drawings. I don't know how much that sinks in with you, Justin, but they had these guys who were like, I think, Justin and Matt, like they went to them saying, we don't want to ask John anymore because we feel bad and we've asked him too much. Could you but we need a few extra things. Can you guys, throw in some brass knuckles or this or that? And I saw these things pop up. I was like, no. Nobody else is drawing this.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Chew out.
Counting this as mine. I was like, in the nice, it was almost like, it was such a funny, like, I was kind of offended, but my reaction to that offense is like, no, you're getting more work out of me. I don't know if that was the end goal. Maybe they're like, look, it's going to light a fire under John, but I ended up drawing way more stuff. I was like, ooh, this is cool. And this is cool.
It was all reverse psychology. We knew it just made it work even harder.
Exactly how I thought.
And then we wouldn't feel so bad about calling you every few days and telling you we needed another dozen assets. No, yeah, to that point, I think it was an incredible kind of process. I still remember, John, you texting me the very first sketch of a Tigon and being like, I think this is kind of what I'm going for. And then sending the second iteration. And in the beginning, a lot of the Tigons were pencil sketches. We didn't even know if we were going to be using any sort of software.
I remember when I was kind of almost hesitant about color. And then when I did color, I did this, and I think it's cool. And I think we minted one of them as the original, colored pencil sketch kind of version. And I really liked it. And they're like, we love it. Can we see a full color version where instead of outlining, it was like a full color? I was kind of hesitant. I was like, okay. And then I started getting into it. I was like, oh, these are pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, that was it. When the initial color started, it was like a colored pencil almost and very light. And then we kind of just continued to fill that out. But yeah, we demanded a lot from you. So thank you for all of that. I mean, all the things that you created through Procreate, every time we were getting them, it was something that was exciting for us. And it was just kind of this natural progression and evolution. And to your point, we'd talked to Theta from the beginning about utilizing their marketplace and Theta drop, but also there were so many things happening at that time. This was a bull market. Everyone was scooping up NFTs. We thought we had something really special. And so we couldn't ignore all the other platforms. And it was like, all of a sudden Solana was like catching fire, right? And then all of a sudden it was like, fill in the blank, just to each different marketplace. And so we were always considering like, what are our options? Where can we build the biggest audience? Where can we have the most success? And ultimately, we did go with Theta because we have a great relationship with them, and they have, 4 million subscribers that are a very committed community. And like, we're very glad that we did. We have very active, community on Discord and through Theta, and we've continued to build for them. But yeah, I mean, every day was a new day of like, what are we doing? Because we were all, I think it's the cliche of like building the plane mid-flight. It was just like everything was happening so fast, and we were trying to make sure that we were evolving properly and giving ourselves the best opportunity to have a long-term play and ultimately end up, in a position where we are even right now, of having brought that 2D animation to life in a full game. So
it essentially ate my entire Christmas break, my week leading up to Christmas. It killed it. These guys remember, and I was just like,
They made you
like,
work on
"Kids,
Christmas?
We're not going Christmas tree shopping this year. I'm sorry, Daddy's got to draw. It wasn't that bad, Justin.
Did you
I'll
draw
you
them
a
a
Christmas
Christmas tree?
tree. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
I drew that whole last week leading up to Christmas. I was like, well, honey, you're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do this. I got to get these drawings done.
I mean, I think that's the blessing and the curse. You know, John's so talented; he's getting pulled in a lot of different directions for films and TV shows and projects, and then his commitment to Verified Labs too. It's like, we're dragging him to New York, and then we're dragging him to Austin. Then we got to get him to LA for a bunch of guest spots on some pretty big shows and interviews, and he's got to shoot a film in Tahiti, right? Is it Tahiti? What island are you going to? Yeah, Tahiti. So it's like, and then I'm like, I feel like I've become his like Web3 agent, because then I'm trying to juggle his calendar too, to be like, can we squeeze in an interview with Decrypt on this day? Can we squeeze in an interview with Coinbase on this day? Can we do CoinDesk? We're doing like
He caught you.
Access Hollywood, right? Like all these it's crazy things coming in. Adam Carolla's podcast. Maybe I'm not supposed to say these things. I probably should shut up. But all this stuff that'll be coming out, and it's like plugging and playing. So it's like I know John's wife, and I've met his kids, most of them, and it's like I don't want to pull him away from them. But sometimes we're like, sorry, it's Christmas, and you're gonna draw for the next. So.
We need some pictures.
That's where I got the chunk of all the drawing done. There was some good stuff that came out of that, so I don't regret it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We love you, John.
Well, we love you.
You're a lot of fun to work with. It's a consistent thing too. So
sometimes lighting that fire is what creativity needs. It needs a little catalyst to get cooking.
Yeah.
So wait, you said you guys have worked together or known each other for 10 years. How did you guys meet?
I wrote a film. I got into the entertainment industry as a screenwriter.
Okay.
And I wrote dark comedy features. I wrote a film a little over a decade ago called Killing Winston Jones, and John starred in it alongside Richard Dreyfuss and Danny Glover and Jolie Fisher, Tyler Labine, Ali Michalka.
No big deal.
Cast.
No big
It was
deal.
an amazing cast. Yeah, it was.
That sounds amazing. I haven't heard of it.
And you'll never know because
you'll probably never see it.
Oh no.
It was fully produced. We shot it. We were out in primarily in Savannah, Georgia. We shot in Georgia. This was a $2 million film, and we shot it in Georgia because of the tax incentives. At that time, you could get 30% back on the dollar. So we were getting a lot back in return for doing it there. And also Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, Savannah, great crews, great people, like super, great hospitality. And we went out there and had a blast. And John and I just really kind of hit it off. My friend Joel David Moore directed the film. A lot of people remember him from like Grandma's Boy and Dodgeball, and he's an Avatar, the Norm Spellman character. And
he's wonderful.
He's great. Yeah. And so because we had built a friendship after I'd written the script, he was like, hey, you know these characters in this world really well. Why don't you come to set with us during production, which is a blessing for a writer, because a lot of times you sell or option a script and then they're like, thanks, bye, and then they go make the movie. But
your job's done here.
He's like, let me be clear, you are not the director. I am the director. Call me director. No, but I was able to be there for that process. And so when you're making an independent film, it kind of becomes like a family affair. Everyone's working when it's on a lower budget, you don't have 20, 30, 40 million. It's like everyone kind of has to work together. You're shooting 6 days a week. And so John and I just hit it off, and I loved the character that he was playing. I thought he was perfect for it. And on top of it, we were just always trying to find like fun things to do together. So like we did like a cemetery tour, and we go to different restaurants, and we're kind of foodies where we could get good food. And we got into geocaching, if we're all familiar with that. And so now actually when John and I travel we've been doing a bunch of conferences and traveling all over. for things. And so whenever we're in a different city, we now geocache together. John's marked off what 46 states that you've geocached in now, something like that.
Wow.
Not quite. No, I still probably 40 states. I still
40.
have like 10 more to go.
Yeah. So yeah, we worked on that film together, and then we just kind of we're always looking for ways to collaborate. And so we kind of developed a bunch of different concepts, some for film, some for TV, and you know, developed a friendship out of that. And then always kind of just circled back with each other to see where we were in our careers and what we were working on, and see if there was some way to put something together. And then really it just worked out perfectly when we kind of fell into what was all happening in Web3 in real time, and these opportunities with NFTs and digital assets and artists and all that. And so it was just the perfect kind of, you know, you usually need 3 things to be successful, and it's like, or 4, like hard work, luck, timing. You know, it's like one of those is always off. For us, I think it was like finally the timing really worked out well. And then John did all the hard work on Christmas, and then we got lucky. So, you know, yeah, that's how we met.
That was a wonderful answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, where can we get a bootleg copy of this movie that you were talking about?
That was my next
that
question.
Sounds
Thank you.
incredible.
I would love to have a bootleg copy. I don't even have that.
So it's funny because the film was finished, and I had a copy. It wasn't it wasn't a hard copy. It was actually just a stream, and I streamed it for like family and friends. We streamed it actually for a few sales agents and critics. And I remember one of the notes we got back was that it was a white trash version of Royal Tenenbaums. And I thought that was like the biggest compliment ever, because I was like, I love Wes Anderson. I was like, if you want to say it, you know, like Wes Anderson's movies.
That's good company, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just it got shelved. You know, the producer, the primary producer behind it, decided not to release it. And we've tried over the last decade. We've made offers, you know, monetary offers, and there's just, I don't know if I'm hoping someday we can save it, because it's such a fun, unique, interesting little indie film that like over 100 people worked so hard on and put so much blood, sweat, and tears into. It's just sad when those things happen to any projects. So hopefully one of these days we can get it back. Otherwise, if not, we'll just have to make more money here and just reproduce it again.
So you said it's sad when things like that happen to projects. Is this something that happens on a semi-regular basis? I know nothing about Hollywood, so.
More than you know. Not
really?
I wouldn't say all the time, but it happens, unfortunately. I mean, Justin, you might be more aware, since you worked with an agency for a while, of projects that, you know, for whatever reasons were shelved.
Well, I mean, what's interesting is a lot of projects will find a reason to fall through, but in very different phases of the process. So like development phase, you know, something could be developed but never get off of the shelf, right? Something can go to pre-production and then the money can fall out, or an actor can lose availability, or, you know, there's a lot of different reasons. Production, things can go wrong where production has to be shut down. It's very rare that you finish a film and it's basically ready to go and you choose not to release it. And again, I don't know the full story, but not to get too deep in the weeds, but if you've noticed as of late, like several TV shows on streamers have been disappearing, as in like you cannot watch them anymore. And as I'm sure you've all heard, a big part of that is you can write those off as a loss and you can get money back through taxes. And on top of it, then you don't have to make any sort of residual payments. So for a streamer, you know, like for a Westworld type of show, right? If it disappears, then you don't have to pay residual checks to the showrunner, the directors, the actors every time that it plays. And you're saving money by not having to do that. So sometimes these types of things happen where the film, if it's an independent film, can be utilized as a write-off. And if you write it off as a loss and you don't put it out into the world and don't, you know, release it, then you can recoup funds and money. And I'm not saying that that's what happened here, because I don't have the full story, but
yeah,
it could have.
That gives me FOMO as somebody who likes watching a lot of shows, and I, you know, I'm always binging, whether it's on Netflix or HBO Max or Hulu or whatever. it's always like, oh yeah, it'll still be there later if I don't have time to get to it. You know, my Netflix queue actually capped. They were like, you can't add any more to your watch later
I
because
didn't know it
you
did
have
that.
too many. It does, yeah. It's like after like 500 movies or something like that, and
Oh
then
my
these
gosh.
things start disappearing, and I'm like, oh no, I need more time.
I mean, it's scary for the creator, you
Yeah,
know, and that's the thing is like I've talked about this a lot recently on some of these panels that, you know, creating things in Web3 is going to give the creator the power to have ownership of their IP and of the material. So, you know, in the sense of a Westworld, or, you know, in the case of a lot of the shows on HBO that are disappearing, HBO makes that decision, right? Or Warner Brothers makes that decision. Filmmakers have no say in it. Producers, showrunners, directors, they don't have any say. But a lot of times, if you're working in Web3 through those smart contracts, you have ownership of that content, so it can't disappear. And obviously, it's on the ledger. So I think there's a
people are
lot of
rewriting the
reasons why.
rules, really.
Yeah,
It's we've met a bunch of people that even people that we work with, Lucas and I here at the Sandbox, we know people who have come from other parts of the entertainment industry, whether it's music. I mean, like Snoop Dogg's has been talking about how he doesn't own the rights to certain songs because the studio owns those rights, and or sorry, the record label owns those rights, and he's producing content independently now, which is something he could do before, but the Web3 aspect has enabled it to become much more official and kind of like digitally set in stone, where he can like prove that ownership, and it really changes the narrative.
yeah.
Now I've got I've got one comment in the chat from PandaPops, who's one of our other official streamers here at the Sandbox, who says that there should be a private metaverse showing of this movie. So maybe I don't know. You were talking about doing some showings for like investors and stuff. What do Tigon holders have any sort of perks?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, whether we can revive Killing Winston Jones is yet to be seen. But I think, you know, as we move down the path of building out Tigons and Tigonia as a franchise, you know, our goal is to do an animated series here next, maybe even think about a feature. But I'm going to go ahead and say, you know, we're always going to support our community and give them opportunity to be, you know, the first to view things, to have active participation in that. So yeah, I think once we have something to show, whether, you know, probably, you know, we can have a screening of it in the Sandbox. Actually, Lucas and Voxel Ocean have built quite an amazing space for us, Theater Row, that has an incredible historic theater in it that we plan on streaming premieres at, with red carpet events,
Okay.
anywhere from premieres to, you know, episodes of, you know, unique distribution for any type of concepts and content that wants to be there. So I think hopefully in the not too distant future we'll be able to do that.
That sounds really exciting. I've been experimenting with the video streaming features in our game making tool, and we're getting really close to making those things work. So I know lots of people are going to be pumped for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, you kind of hit on one of my next questions was going to be something about, like, you know, working in the entertainment industry. What excites you about Web3? And you already smashed that one out of the park. But you're talking about the ownership side of things. Is that what brought you to the space? Is that really what drew you here in the first place, or was there another aspect of it?
I think that was part of it. I'm always like looking for different ways of delivering content and reaching an audience. And so what I noticed, you know, 2 years ago, I read the trades daily, you know, from Deadline to Variety to Hollywood Reporter, and I kept seeing, you know, articles that would mention Web3 or blockchain technology or you know, the metaverse or cryptocurrency, and so at the time I didn't really know much about it, and I started trying to educate myself, and I realized like, oh, this is probably gonna affect the entertainment industry in a way that will not be able to ignore. And being at the forefront of that as it evolves is probably, you know, the best place to be. in the best position to be. So, and then I kind of started learning about little nuances like this idea of smart contracts, right? So if I come from the world of writing and producing primarily independent films, I've worked in the studio system, but outside of the studio system, if you are to make $1 million film and let's say, you don't have a ton of money to pay the writer or the director or the actors, and you offer them points on the back end or a percentage on the back end, that means they should make money if the movie makes money, right? So let's say you had $1 million movie and it grosses $10 million or $11 million, so it's a 10 million profit. If you had 10% of that on the back end, you should get $1 million, right? That's what you get paid because the film was successful. But a lot of times in traditional Hollywood, that $10 million or that $1 million that you earned and deserved disappears because, producers will say, oh, well, we actually used $1 million for marketing, and oh, we, had to pay these insurance costs, and oh, we had to spend money here for travel and all these different things. And so, really wasn't $10 million profit. It was something else. And so you don't see money on the back end like you should. With the smart contracts, because you have that percentage built in, no matter what, when that film grosses a certain amount of money, that money that you've earned and you deserve immediately goes into your wallet and into your account. So any sort of individuals, crew members, cast members that have points on the back end through that smart contract is just a great piece of technology. It guarantees you that you get the money that you earn. That money is no longer disappearing. So those types of things, I was like, that's really exciting. And we're making sure that the creators are getting compensated for the work that they're doing. So little things kind of like that.
That's awesome. The smart contract side of things is almost exactly what brought me here as well. I mean, I don't think I know anybody who's ever worked in a contracting role that at some point or another, the person they work for is just like, yeah, I don't feel like paying you. They may not directly say that, but their actions do. And to not have to deal with that in any way, shape, or form, the work is done, the contract is completed, the zeros and ones have lined up how they're supposed to, bam, the money's in your account. That trustless side of this world is just so beautiful. It's so encouraging.
Yeah, totally. I think, and one other thing too, John is now involved in 2 animated Web3 animated series. I don't want to say 4 because I haven't talked to him about two of the other ones, but
2 of the other. I know about one of them.
Did you volunteer him to go to?
He was voluntold, yeah.
Well, actually, yeah. He kind of, John, you kind of know about the FTX one, but he's involved in these Web3 animated series. One of which is with a company called Toonstar. They've had a lot of success in Web3 as an animation studio. They did a very successful animated series called The Gimmicks in conjunction with Mila Kunis. She was an executive producer on the project and a partner. They've done 2 seasons. They're in the middle of doing a 3rd season. We're working on a project called, oh wait, I can't talk about it. Sorry. It's
very close.
Almost did.
Very close.
Wow, and sorry. It's gone.
All of that. It's actually being announced at Consensus next week on a panel next Thursday.
Okay. So keep an ear out for an announcement.
Keep an ear out. We'll just say I can tell you it's called Space Junk and it's out of this world. But anyways.
Okay.
So a great cast also, and it's going to be amazing. But the reason I bring this up is if you look at traditional Hollywood in terms of creating film and television, 70% of the content that's being created is based off of source material or IP. And so it's really hard to get an original concept off of the ground. And so what happens is if you build out a concept on Web3 technology, like a Space Junk or like Psycho KO, the other project that John's a part of, you can build a community. And when you've built a community, that's a proof of concept and a built-in audience. And so by the time you take it back to traditional distribution or investors or studios or streamers, you can show them that there is success in the concept and it becomes IP, it becomes source material. So they're more apt to develop it out further or to actually stream it. So we're kind of in this hybridized model where we're building IP and content in Web3 and we'll monetize it through creating communities, offering collectibles and memorabilia and all those things, and early access to episodes. Toonstars even allowed their community to influence the storylines in the animated series that they work on. So we'll be doing the same. But ultimately, we use a hybridized model because it's still a lot more money in traditional distribution and streamers. And it's not that it's just about the money, but it's also about the exposure and reaching a huge audience. So for us, it's embracing Web3, building audiences there, but also still embracing Web2, still embracing streamers, and getting the biggest audience and making the most successful project possible, and bringing the community along with us for the ride and giving them all access to that as, you know, a strong community behind it. So those were the things that were exciting to me too, is instead of a gatekeeper that's, you know, instead of a passive viewer watching something on Netflix, you're actually an active participant in the concepts that are being created by Verified Labs and our other creative producing partners. And you feel like you're a part of the story and everything else. So those were things that I really liked.
People like to have their voice be heard.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's involved in the community and actively involved, if they can have any sort of a say, even if it's just a fractional one, it means the world to them. And that's another part of this world that is really beautiful.
John, how are you doing on time, by the way, buddy?
It's what else do we need to cover? Because
I can stick around. I can
Contractually,
stick around for a
I
bit.
mean,
I don't know if we want to do one last question with John. I can hang out for a while too. So whatever you guys want to do, but I know it's a Saturday, John. I know I don't want Kirsten and the kids to kill you.
oh, it's not me. I'm worried about them killing Justin.
Exactly.
It's more of a compassionate thing towards you. It makes sense. It's a good friend right there.
well, I've only got
I'm
about
worried
an
about
hour
them
left for the
killing
show
me,
myself. So.
Killing someone else, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
Somebody else whose name might begin with a J, maybe.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to drop on us before you take off, John? Any
No,
any
I
new
think
projects?
just-
Any nuggets of wisdom?
I think just adding to, you know, what Justin said, for when you asked him, you know, why getting into this space, and, you know, I didn't know a lot about this space getting, you know, beforehand, but I saw it as an opportunity for me really to just get creative. And, you know, and that, so it was just another outlet within the entertainment industry. I love getting creative, whether it's acting or writing or drawing. But, you know, for me, it really started with the seed of like, I get to draw again, and more for reason. I mean, I always enjoyed drawing, but on all honesty, I kind of dropped. It was not an active, you know, a hobby of mine for many years because I was just focusing on acting and I would doodle here or there. But I just saw this as like, all right, this is a good way. Gives me, I kind of like being on commission in some ways, like someone tell me what to draw. Cause that was one of my favorite things doing when growing up, is obviously creating my own things. But then whenever I had a challenge, okay, you got to mix these two animals together, whether it was hybridizing or it was like, hey, it's a school project, you got to draw this or you got to do this. And I love that challenge, the challenge, and just that kind of unknown quest of like, okay, I'm going to discover this along the way. And that's what everything with Web3, with Tigonia, when, you know, when Justin was like, look, you know, let's do this thing with Tigons. And if we really dig it, we can do more with them, or you can start other projects. But it was kind of seeing the possibilities of like, we could turn this into an animated show. We could do these things. But I like the beginning of doing the NFT project where you're just kind of putting drawings out there for people to collect, and slowly, it's a real fun way to see the fan base and the community get built that way. You know, you don't have to just jump right out of the gate with a movie or a TV show. You're just like, okay, here's some drawings. If you like that, well, let's kind of just explore it as we go. I mean, really, it was just the drawings. And then Justin was like, well, do you have any back lore for, you know, why? I think it all started when our initial drop got like, there was like a couple thousand of them that weren't officially dropped because of all this kind of, I don't know. I still don't even know exactly all the reasons behind why we had our initial drop, and some of it didn't go through. So I was just like, well, I'll just write a backstory why these Tigons got lost along the way. And then it kind of took on a life of its own. Like, oh, it's like Star Wars, essentially. They live in space. Anyways, the point is it really has been an organic process, starting from just a simple drawing to creating lore behind the Tigons, to now we've got this world with Sandbox and with Voxel Ocean creating this whole world that we can explore. And it's been so fun working with these guys. Like, John, what do we've got this arena, tell us some backstory. We've got these creatures. Do you have any explanation for this at all? I was like, yes, I think I do.
That is
awesome.
really the fun part of like the metaverse aspect, is that as we're creating characters and lore, we can also engage with the community and the way they're interacting with it to add on to that lore. So the way fans respond to something, we can kind of react in real time and build off of that, and that just grows that connection with the community even stronger, because now they're part of building the story. And I think it's great. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and let me say, like, it's been a complete pleasure working with Voxel Ocean, with you, Lucas, and with Ed, aka Sanzeus, creatively to bring this to life. Like I said, it's crazy to think that we first reached out to you in January of last year, and here we are, finally getting this great opportunity to release Tigonia on 420, of course, of all dates.
Of all dates.
But I think it's really exciting to see people enjoying the gamification of it, and we're hoping that we get maybe it becomes kind of a cult classic on the Sandbox, and people share it with their friends, and more people visit it and have fun, and it allows us to keep building it out. I mean, the goal for us is the work that you guys did at Voxel Ocean with a 1x1 is absolutely insane. And I think to be able to continue building that out, into another parcel or to a 2x2, I think if there's excitement within our community and that community continues to grow, of course we would do that. I think it's a great opportunity to just keep expanding the story, from John, and continue to create the gamification through that story, and then just keep building it out. Like I said, the worlds I think are a hybridized oyster, right? With a series, an animated series, movie franchise, potentially all that stuff. So we're excited, very grateful to be in the Sandbox and to be a part of that community now too, and hopefully keep growing. So,
well, the feeling is 100% mutual, and we're from the Sandbox and from Voxel Ocean, from everybody that's involved with you guys. We're just happy to have you here. It really is an absolute pleasure.
It's an honor, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
John's wife just texted me and said she was going to kill me, so we're going to let
we're going to jump to an intermission. Thank you, John. Thank you, Justin.
It was a text of the Grim Reaper. I'm not exactly sure what that
that could mean a lot of things.
And just so you know, if she sent you an emoji of a blood orange, that's the closest thing she can find to blood.
It's like The Godfather. In The Godfather, you see an orange and you know someone's about to die. She just sent me like a dozen.
You think she sent that emoji of a pony, but it's a horse's head. It's code for a loved one will show up headless in your bed if you do not get up.
Yeah, no, that makes that tracks.
Bold imagery.
Thank you so much, the two of you. We're going to jump to an intermission and transition to talking to the Voxel Ocean team. Have a great weekend, you two. We hope to get a chance to talk to you again.
Stick around, everyone. We will be right back.
Guys.
Have fun in Tigonia.
Bye, Justin. Bye, John.
See you guys.
Part
Yay.
2.
All right, everybody, we are back. Thank you for hanging out for us. We just said
Right.
goodbye to John and Justin. Hopefully, we'll see them back on the stream sometime in the future. We would like to now welcome the team from Voxel Ocean. We've got Ed, aka Sanzeus, and we've also got Lula Love 9. Who I'm gonna say Lula from now on because I'll start to stumble over it. But so tell us about your roles in Voxel Ocean. I know Ed, you are a joint partner with Lucas in running Voxel Ocean, correct?
It's true.
Yep, I think we have a huge delay here.
No, you're going to be looking at the screen over on Discord, or not on Discord, but on Twitch.
Sweet.
I can actually I'll fix it so that way you can look at Discord and just listen to the voice. Don't listen to the audio on Twitch.
Yeah, I got it. It was great. Repeat that question.
Here we go. Now you can see like what's going on Discord.
Now our images are all over the place.
Oh no, I broke it. I broke everything. Never mind. We're not doing it that way.
And we're back.
I fixed it. Okay. All right.
Hey.
This is we were doing Zoom for John and Justin. Now we're doing Discord for Ed and Lula. So we're trying new things today. We're doing it live, folks. We're doing it live, as we like to say here. Ed, do you want to be Zeus? Or you want to be Ed? What am I going to call you today?
Whatever you want to call me.
Ed's fine. I think.
It's shorter.
So,
I call him all of the above. Like sometimes it's Ed, sometimes it's Zeus, sometimes it's Sanzeus, sometimes it's SZ. I mean, it really just depends.
Okay. All right. Well, so as I was saying, you are joint owners of Voxel Ocean with Lucas, and tell us about what's that like? What's your role in Voxel Ocean? What are you up to these days, creating worlds in the sandbox?
Well, we've been working with Verified Labs for over a year, and it's been, as many people know, a whirlwind tour. We have several other experiences with them. As you know, we've worked on Dog, the Bounty Hunter, and it's a lot of waves and ups and downs in the metaverse, but we've been working hard. My role at Voxel Ocean is, I make stuff. And Lucas we used to call him our Swiss Army knife. He does like everything in Web3. He's like a genius. So we weave together well. And then there's this third person who we have to give props to. Everybody has to give it up for Lula.
She's actually the most important leg on this table.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I do a lot of the game programming, so making it all work in the sandbox.
Programming, development. She reviews the artist's work when she's not the one creating it. I mean, everything that needs to be done, it kind of goes through her to get that final stamp of approval. And yeah, it's a very pivotal role in what all we do.
We did notice, so the council, my group with Joe and others, we did the QA testing for this game, and I did notice that Lula was the one replying to every single bug ticket that we opened up. So we were so thorough, addressed like every single concern that we raised. It's a pleasure to have somebody so attentive. Who reading our notes, because sometimes people don't read notes.
Isn't that so frustrating?
Oh, it's so frustrating. But Lula was a champion. So great job, and I think people are having a fun time.
Good to hear. Thank you.
I have seen a few constructive critics in there saying it's a rather complex game, and we take that as a pretty big compliment, because that was what we were going for. We didn't want a game that you could run into and be done in 15 minutes. The Tigonian ecosystem is a very complicated one, as you heard from John. And so we wanted a 1x1 that, properly displayed that showed the world. This is only a fraction of what he wanted to be in here. And so for us to pare this down more than it already has been pared down would have been doing a real disservice to just the Tigons in general.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's a few quality of life things in the sandbox that's, it's not about this experience specifically, but just as we develop the sandbox and improve the engine and everything in the ecosystem, having things like chapters or saves and stuff is going to make this a lot more accessible to people. And I think you have the audacity to be ahead of the curve, kind of, in that
How
you're how
how
dare
dare
you?
how
You're
dare?
you're making something that's deeper, more complex, and longer to play. And I've seen that with other games. I've seen games that take several hours to get through on your first try, and for some people that's just too long. And that's I don't think it's necessarily a problem. It's just it's
No.
something that the sandbox is going to grow to meet by
Mhm.
having more tools for creators to handle player friendly ways of dealing with that. But I don't think that should restrict storytelling and development where you have to make an experience that's only 15 minutes long. I think there's a lot more room for storytelling, and I think there's going to be a desire for it as the platform expands. So.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, I'm happy to see more complex, more detailed worlds going on here.
Yeah, and this game was, built for a client who, as you heard in the last session, they have a big ecosystem they're trying to build.
Yeah.
From
Uh,
Theta to ETH to animated shows to
Mhm.
the
we're all
whole
over the
nine
place.
yards. Yeah, they really are. They are an intensely impressive group. If by for no other metric than their sheer volume of what they're working on around the world and around the spaces, it really is quite impressive.
Now, tell us how do you begin a big project like this? I mean, there's a lot going on here. I'm guessing that you don't just open Game Maker and start slapping stuff down. There's probably some planning involved. Can you tell us a bit about that process?
Yeah, so, something this big, you something this big in general in the sandbox. I'm a sculptor by trade, and as an artist, to step way back and sort of look at it and scratch your chin and look at the big picture and then narrow in. But then working with a client who has their own ideas, it makes it a lot more complex because you first have to actually teach them the sandbox. As they learn about the metaverse and crypto and how that works, then you have to move into teaching them about the sandbox and how that works and what you can and can't do.
Mm.
Then you can get into the creativity mode. And so it's actually like juggling two separate things. Um, the piece of art you want to render, and then the client who's you're teaching how to put their paint on it. So it was pretty difficult. It took a while, but we spent a lot. Sean and I spent a lot of time together, um, and sort of developing his ideas into feeding into the sandbox, and uh, and then we had to piece it together. He would send me drawings, and then I would have to say, okay, this can fit here and this can fit here, and then I have to go back and be like, okay, you can't do that, because they had all kinds of imagination of what they thought you could do in the sandbox. They were out on somewhere between World of Warcraft and first person shooters,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, this is what we can do here, and we reined them in a bit, and it was a good match though. After a while, we really got jamming, and it was fun.
That's super relatable for me as a creator on the platform that before I became staff, I applied to join the Game Maker Fund, and I had a game pitch idea, and the ideas in my game pitch, the mechanics for them just became possible in 0.8.
Yeah.
So and I joined the company end of 2019, beginning of 2020. So I had a little ways to wait before. So now I can develop my idea because it involved dynamic lighting, some unique storytelling
Yeah.
stuff. So it's definitely a struggle sometimes as a creator to like have an idea and then not really being able to implement it with the tools you have at hand. But for me, that really inspires a lot of creativity because it starts becoming well, we were talking with John about kind of the catalyst of people putting a lot of pressure on you makes you work harder and do more, and you do some of your best work when you're under that pressure. And not everybody, but for a lot of especially creative people, I think tend to work on stronger ideas when under pressure. And then when you have limitations in your system, you also start coming up with those stronger ideas, I feel. So it is it's a balancing act, but it's exciting and exhilarating, and it's great when new features come along. You're like, I can do it now. Like it's really exciting.
I find it fun to work with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Work with what you're given, and I get a kick out of that. It's like I have 3 things. What can I make out of them?
Absolutely. So, Lula, how did you find working with John and Justin? Were you involved in those conversations a lot with them as well?
So I actually only sat in one meeting with them directly. Otherwise, I was definitely more on the back end, getting my information from Zeus directly and going from there to put it all together.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your game logic process here. Were there any sort of like mechanics that you how do I want to word this? Were there things that you were trying to accomplish that you felt like hadn't really been done before, or were like a struggle to like how exactly am I going to make this thing work? Are there any or are these trade secrets that you can't share with us?
No, no secrets really, but one thing that's wonderful about working in the Game Maker is that there are 3 or 4 ways to get something done. So when you have an idea, you might do it differently than someone else in the community, getting the same end goal there. So it is fun to see all of the different ways to do stuff and tinkering with it when it doesn't work when you want it to.
Yeah. I find that as well. Oftentimes there may be several ways to do something, but one way probably works better for what you're trying to do, and it's sometimes it's matter a lot. It's a lot of trial and error figuring that one right way to do it.
Hmm.
Absolutely right, Lula.
Yes.
Trial and error.
There's
Yes,
more than one
definitely.
ways to skin this potato.
Yeah, and to keep it unbroken.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like if I fix this thing over here, what happens to this thing over here? Because this was reliant
Yeah.
on that thing, and that's always an adventure.
Hmm.
Yep.
For sure.
So, were there any particular design struggles that you had? Like, was there like one particular issue that was kind of plaguing you that was like a final victory moment when you got through it? I
So,
I feel like there's already a story here that Lucas knows.
Yeah.
early on, we were having issues with the teleports because it is such a large map that you really wanted the player to not have to struggle to get to certain areas. So we did implement a lot of teleporting that you want to make sure you're going to the right spot at the right time. So that was always fun to play with and put in, skip intro so you don't always have to play through certain quests if you're a returning player. So things like that we wanted to optimize the playthrough for the experience for sure. Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that harkens back to one of those things I mentioned earlier was the kind of quality of life things that we hope to have the platform support better in the future. But creators have already been figuring out ways to have either multiple chapters and kind of how you skip from chapter 1, 2 to 3, so that way if you have a longer game, it doesn't have to be a single sitting kind of thing, or old school NES style, which is what I grew up with of like uh, you turn the game on, you play some, then you turn off the TV, but you don't turn off the Nintendo. You come back to it tomorrow. Hopefully, it didn't set the house on fire or something.
And if anybody touched that while you were gone, there was screaming, there was temper tantrums, and it was like the world came to a bloody crashing end.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important stuff.
My game off.
I remember what happened to Toe Jam and Earl to this very day. Granted, that was Sega, but you couldn't save that one, so it was the exact same feeling, and I was a lot older than when it was Nintendo.
Yeah.
But yes, the teleporter issue.
Yeah, we teleport to a lot of different places too at a lot of different times. So
we
they
just
intermingle.
kept coming out of that yak anus over and over, and it was a very,
I
very
thought we
just
might get through the
dirty
whole
business.
stream without using that word, but Lucas was
What
like,
word?
I'm not having
Anus?
it.
We had to stop at some point. I had so many jokes. I'm like, I gotta stop. I was like, thank you. Too many anus jokes.
Oh
It's-
man. Now, are all so I noticed there's one name in particular. I don't know if I'm safe to say it. That was definitely a pun for one of the guys up in the starting pod up here.
Which name was that, Alex?
I'll let you. I'll let you know what name it is.
I'm sure I have no idea what you're talking about.
We'll see. We'll go and meet him, and they can go read it on
There's a
screen.
ton.
Yeah, just let them read it. Let them make their own decision.
Right, exactly.
There
How do you think this name should be pronounced?
Yeah, it's a contest.
But John came up with all the names. He sent me a list of names. He said, "Here's some names if you need to name things." And I kept having to go back. I'm like, "I need more names, John."
There are a lot
always-
of characters around here.
Oh yeah, yeah. He really went in depth with his lore. He is a real creative. He really did all the art for Napoleon, and he's actually toning back for a style. He styles after what he calls a seventh grader named Sherman. So when he comes up with ideas, he's like, "What would Sherman do?" And,
Was Sherman a real person, or is this just like a
no,
projection
it's
of?
a fictional seventh grader who draws
Okay.
pictures?
He was real
And,
to John.
Yeah, and he really goes to town. I've seen some of his other work. He went to animation school before Napoleon, and he
Really?
sent some of his work. These are the advanced Tigons and animated cartoons, and I can't tell you anymore. And he no beans, and
Right.
he can really draw. He's a really good artist.
So the name on screen right now is Colbert, obviously. How would you pronounce it, Alex?
No, that's exactly how I read that. I'm
Okay,
glad
cool.
I'm not alone.
Yeah. It's just, Game Maker has a few limitations right now, and we can't put accents over letters to show which ones are
Right,
silent.
obviously.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're limited on
it's
those
French.
ASCII characters.
Okay, that's right from John. I'll tell him you named it. It gave it the French version, Colbert.
I didn't give it anything. It's just how it is. I feel like I'm on trial here. What's happening right now?
Alright. Sorry, I'm laughing too hard to read the questions I had written.
So
Go ahead.
So John, he wanted like every color. The whole place has lore. I mean, the place is made out of this green stuff everywhere.
Mhm.
It's actually the stone that they use from Tigonia, but it's not quite a stone. John would go on for a long time. The meetings were fun. It's not exactly a stone. It's this sort of metal that conducts the Kowegian power. In fact, the Kowegian crystal has all kinds of lore. It's their religion. It's their sort of psi religion, the Kowegian crystal. And so
I'm
it travels
I'm hearing this in his
well.
voice as you're describing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they met more and more, Ed started taking on John's mannerisms more and more. So yeah, you're 100% spot on with that. He is a very infectious human being in the most possible way possible, or the most positive way possible. So
yeah, I had to start to speak John so I could take on more responsibility. And he kind of let me cut me loose a bit because I could then speak John and say, okay, this is Tigonian and this is what he'd want here. And I could add things and then come back and be like, this is what you wanted, right? And he's like, yeah, that's Tigon. So it was fun. And when you should hear him when he's coming up with this, he's like, I don't know. Should it be a stone or should it be a metal? And he would spend about 20 minutes on stone versus metal, but sort of talc-like, but soft but hard. It
Okay.
would be soft but hard. It was
Kind of flaky.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was like he was just imagining out loud. It was wonderful.
That's really relatable as a creative person that sometimes your brain's going like a lot faster than you can conjure words from those ideas. And there's like an internal argument going on of like, well, this would be better, but what about this? Until you finally get that idea out. It's a relatable struggle.
It's not for me. I'm not creative, so I just don't get it. Alex wanted to ask a question, and I really want this out there because I know that you guys have an answer for it, and I'm excited to hear it. But one of his questions on the list was, are there any mechanics on your wish list that you would like to see that would have you jumping back into Tigonia to start building again? So yeah, do you guys, we haven't discussed this yet, but I know that you have an answer for it. So
yeah. One of the many layers of this, there are many layers in this, and this game was designed for a lot of different functions. So we again it down, but this game was built around a certain voice. So when you read the Skintar, who will be voiced by a certain star, you need to put the spin on it that Alex, you know this character. So the Skintar is going to be voiced by John. I'm sorry, I was elusive there.
No,
why are we being coy? He was just on the show.
What is he talking about?
We're leading up to it.
I got confused.
We were building dramatic tension. This is part of the process.
I don't know what he's talking about. I'm like, okay, let me just spill the beans there. So when I shoot those lines, I was like, speaking out loud in my studio, like, gosh, stop telling me to throw me around. Duh. And I was doing Napoleon all day long. My wife would come down like, dude, what? What are you doing? I'm doing Napoleon. Come on.
This is work.
I'm getting into character. I'm at the office. Oh.
So sorry. So when 0.8 came out, we were very excited because we want sound. We want sound. We want John in there. Yeah. So you'll be able to come to the game, and every time you see the Skintar, you'll be talking with John.
That I can't wait for that. So yeah, the custom sounds in 0.8 are working right now. What we're developing is like the platform for uploading and managing those assets. So if you tried out PandaPops, we at the council we have internal game jams every month, and for Panda she uploaded a song that I think her partner made, if I remember correctly.
She was saying it was her partner. You're correct.
Yeah. So when I started playing her game, I'm like, what is this? I've never heard this song before. Where did you get this song? How is this playing in the game? And Panda was like, oh yeah, no, I got access to uploading on the back end. I'm like, and so then when I did my GDC hangout little game that was for demoing what we could do with multiplayer, and while I was at GDC, I put a little animated version of the council logo as a video in a frame. So yeah, it's working. It looks great. It sounds great, and I can't wait for that platform to be finished, because right now it's like a back end like website thing's very nerdy and not user friendly. But soon, TM, we're gonna have that platform open, and I can't wait for fully voice acted games in the sandbox. It's gonna be so cool. And anybody who's watched me play games a lot here on the sandbox and also on my personal streams knows that I like doing some funny voices sometimes. So I don't know, I'd like to try my hand at doing some more voice acting too. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It was almost, I don't want to say disappointing, because that's not the right word, but as we were going through and playing, knowing that John would eventually be doing voiceover work for the game, and knowing that that was in the works for the future, as I was playing the game, I was kind of like playtesting, I was kind of like watching it go by, being like, stupid quiet game. And I absolutely adore and love this game, but like knowing that was on the horizon, I was just like, I'm so excited for it. It just kind of like, I don't want to say it dampened the mood in the moment, because it didn't, but at the same time, I'm just super excited for that reality to be now, because I want it.
Why can't it be now? Just do it.
Yeah. Want it now.
A Wayward
Yeah, well,
Escapade says, I'll be adding so many fart sound effects to my games. And flushes. I'm so excited.
See, Wayward's love language is farts. And I appreciate that on so many different levels. I cannot wait to hear those games.
It's a very warm feeling. I hear.
we will rename the yak anus the Wayward Escape.
I am sure she would be honored.
Oh my god.
Now I don't want to
so
speak for her. She's
perfect.
right here in the chat. So
Wayward, what do you think? We'll wait for the.
We'll add
it's,
some.
it's all laughs and a yes and a very. All right, it's official.
Oh wow.
Oh boy. So we do have a giveaway form in the chat. So if you would like your shot at winning some of the Tigonia Sandbox assets, make sure that you fill that form out. I'm gonna repaste it in the chat here real quick. How much longer are we leaving that form open for, Lucas? Another minute or two?
Couple more minutes. This is a quick one. I wanted it for the people that have stuck around today, that have been engaging. I mean, I know it was a fun show and it was easy to stick around, but sometimes people dip out a little early, and I wanted to reward the people that are still here.
There you go.
A little selfish on my part, and I'm a selfish person, so I don't care.
All right. So there is kind of a preview of this voice acting. Let me see if I can find it real quick here.
Well, he's looking for that. This giveaway form is open to everyone. If you've won a purple hat or a Wizzy or anything, you are not restricted. This is a new giveaway. Jump on in.
All right, I found it. It was pretty easy to find. So there's actually a trailer for the Tigonia game that's on the Verified Labs YouTube channel. I'll pull it up here real quick. And let me just make sure I've got audio on it, because
I think there's a toilet flush in the trailer.
There might be.
Right on
Will wonders never cease?
All right. I can't see what the volume's going to be on this yet, but we'll figure it out. We'll
The louder
restart
the
it
better.
if we have to.
I better check this out.
That's one of the things
I
we
don't
did
really
at
left out
Voxel
any cool
Ocean
stuff.
is we do a lot of the marketing materials. So we've done a lot of their videos and a lot of their visuals.
Whoa, they weren't kidding. Tigonia's for real, and it's full of enchantment and excitement and enchanting things.
Ooh,
made
Dude,
it
is that a giant space yet?
I see
Hope
you
it
got
doesn't take
Tigonia
a
at
giant
night
space
as well.
dump on me. That'd probably kill me. Man, I
Yeah.
can't wait to go on so many like galactic adventures and quests, checking out this place, fighting hybrid animals, doing all. Dude, that's a flying Tigon. I didn't know they could do that. Why is
You
he shooting
can hear it
lasers
over on
at us?
Discord with the users and all the people on Twitch and
Tigonia makes me
YouTube.
want to move there. Get away from my boring life here on Earth. I'd rather just spend life as a human centaur fighting space arachnids, whatever. Man, it's fun, but it's exhausting here. I'm gonna take a nap with my space guy.
Now, so is that Skintar wearing a fanny pack?
Yeah, how else is he going to bring his stuff around, Alex? You see how far
Well,
away his pants are from his hands? You know what those pockets are?
I didn't notice it over here before. First of all, that's an excellent looking fanny pack. That's
Isn't it? I want one.
It exudes like the essence of the truest fanny pack. In
That is probably the best compliment of my work I will ever get. It exudes fanny pack. I'm gonna keep that forever, Alex. Thank you. John wanted a full, kind of late 80s spin, like a 7th grader in the late 80s. So the whole experience is full of stuff like that.
But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, look where his hands are. Look where his pockets would be on his pants.
He
And he has to have a fanny pack.
Oh.
There's no other
Well,
option.
we wanted him, just to be this like human with no hair, a centaur, and we made him naked, and he's like, after a month of that, he's like, we got to put shorts on him because people are just gonna be trying to look at his junk, and does he have junk?
I
And he said,
mean,
"Look." tanks on him or something.
That seems like a very him question to ask.
Yeah. It's very important though. He loves the skin tar.
Here's the thing also, I would like to point this out. The internet has been asking a question since the day the internet began interneting, and that is, how would a centaur wear its pants? You know, is it like the full thing?
Like
this is the answer.
This is the correct answer. Absolutely.
This is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Just in case anybody was wondering if that conversation still is going on in any crevices of the internet, it has been decided. This is the answer. You are welcome.
This was the correct decision because this is for multiple reasons. This is such a weird tangent to go on, but no, I absolutely agree with this decision because because we're mammals, and like between our hind legs there tends to be where the junk is, and that's what we use pants to cover. So obviously, you're not covering anything in the forelegs. Like, it's just not, what's the point? That would be like a belt, or where you'd put a fanny pack.
You'd put a fanny pack.
So yes, I absolutely agree with this. That I remember. So I don't remember hearing the question phrased as how would a centaur wear pants, but it was how would a giraffe wear a necktie? And
okay,
where would it go?
Well, so some people said that it should go way up on the giraffe neck, and I was like, that's what the conclusion I came to. It goes over the shoulders, right? Because if you were to put a shirt on a giraffe with and I actually made the drawing. I took like a photo of a giraffe and I drew a shirt on it, and I'm like, would you have the shirt neck go all the way up the giraffe neck and it put the collar right underneath its jaw, or would you have it down here? And it looks so ridiculous when you do the buttons all the way up to the top collar. It just looks dumb. So,
and here's the thing, it's well known that giraffes hate turtles, so they'd never wear a turtleneck. So it's just not going to happen.
Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine a giraffe with a turtleneck? That would be like 20 yards of fabric just flipping over.
But we make hybrids in Tigonia, so write that down, Lucas. We're going to be making one of those.
A giraffe turtle?
Well, in the chat. What is a giraffe and a turtle cross called?
What have I begun?
It would be a business girdle, right? Business casual girdle.
Okay.
Giraffe.
And
Giraffe
involved.
Giraffe. Yeah, we got a lot of responses there. Now a giraffe wearing a scarf to keep its neck warm. That would be a very long. That would be a blanket you wrapped around its neck, basically.
Nice.
So I would like to ask the chat one question.
Yeah.
If you could see a hybrid of any two animals, what would you want to see? Do you want to drop a comment on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch?
Should have had that in the giveaway form.
We should have had that in the giveaway form, but I'm just now thinking of it, and you know what they say about hindsight? I'm asking because I don't.
Oh, Alex, did you kill the frogadillo yet in your game?
I don't believe so. It's down by the swamp, right?
Yeah,
I don't think I fought
he's
it.
in the other corner.
It should be.
You'll smack it around with that Tigon arm.
Yeah, all the hybrids are. I mean, they take a lot because you have to rip apart. No, he's the demo one. He's eating a fly. Keep running straight ahead. There's one that you can
yeah, I see the other one. Yeah.
I'm not going to walk into a all-you-can-eat buffet and just start murdering people. That's rude. Wait till they're out on the street and they're done eating. There you go.
He rolls. Oh, it's beautiful. And he does a little.
Some of these, I put some drama into the animations. I put some drama. Kill that guy and see what he does.
I want to see him roll around and try to grab me with his tongue a little more. That's a little. Yeah, that's
roll
awesome.
animation.
All right, we're
beautiful.
We have a Dober squid. That was a hard one.
That's adorable. Okay, and that one's up for sale right now. So if you wanna pick up the frogadillo, I think I want to now. Having seen all that.
Shrimp and a monkey. Ooh, chicken and a shark. This is awesome. After having made these, man, this is awesome.
Lula, do you have any hybrids that you would like to see in the future? Is there anything on your hybrid wish list?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that for sure. I like the ones in chat, like a bulldog and a leopard. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Seahorse and a cat. See, so you guys are on the right track. We have an axolotl and a cat. So we're in the same think. And we have a
Uh,
squid and a tiger. We have a Doberman and a squid. It's called the Dober squid.
these are all with the Beastmaster, right? Like if I can,
Yeah, you can see them
yeah,
all
if I get over
downstairs in
there.
their little cages. A duck and a beaver. Peacock
Huh.
and a spider.
Maybe
Elephant and a
Perry the
spider.
platypus. Um.
Bulldog and a leopard.
Oh, I missed that
Oh,
jump.
see, Panda noticed. Thank you, Panda. The dramatic frog. Thank you. Panda loves me. Thank you, Panda.
I feel like I really like How to Train Your Dragon with the the cat-like dragons. But I would like to see more kinds of dragons, like a bunny dragon or a duck dragon or things like that. I think those would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, we may or may not have a really awesome
Oh, there we go.
couple of dragons at Voxel Ocean.
All right. What's this guy? He looks like a jackalope, except more like a jaguar and an antelope than a.
He's a puma and an antelope. He's a pumalope.
Okay.
If you go to the
pumalope.
cage,
Okay.
if you go to the cages, they have a little description of each one
Go where? There's a description of each one
behind you.
In the zoo
Yep.
behind the Beastmaster.
Okay. Got it.
Nope. Yep.
I call it a zoo, but really a prison.
No, the other way. Behind the Beastmaster. There you go.
And there's a delay for you.
Yeah.
It took me many months to get used to the delay.
Yeah, it is weird. I'm still not
Still
used to
not.
it. That's why I try to do everything like in the call. Rad Condad says a dachshund and a snake, easy.
Ooh.
All right,
No
we got the
legs or
puma.
legs?
Snake. That's really good. We took
no legs,
a
of course,
snake.
right?
We took a
I don't know.
snake,
Doc.
raccoon, what was it? And a caterpillar. Because we wanted so many raccoon hands, you couldn't possibly bear it. So we did a snakuna pillar.
That one's also on sale. Actually, most of the hybrids are on sale, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you
the
check
snakuna
out that
pillar's great.
collection,
He just sits there with 1,000 hands going, I'm going to raccoon you.
And eats all your trash. All of it.
Yeah. No trash escapes the snakuna pillar.
Closing out the giveaway form, right? Meow.
What are you giving away?
We are giving away multiple assets. I figured we'd give away maybe a wizard hat or two to stay thematically appropriate with the show, and maybe a Tigon or two. I'm going to look at the answers of the people that win and kind of base what we give off of that. If there's any sort of a hint as to what they would have liked to see, then we'll do that. If not, then we'll just decide on our own. But yeah, Tigon, wizard hat.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe an Aegon, maybe an alien Tigon. Maybe if I actually have direct access to these people, I can ask them which Tigon they would like.
there you go. Put in
We
a
shall see.
request. They could each get a rare asset. One rare.
The wearables in there are directly out of his drop, directly out of all those drawings that he was doing for the generative drop on Theta.
Mm-hmm.
The wearables are right out of there. So
I got to get one of these. This thing looks awesome. The hybrid chainsaw looks really super cool.
We had some cool stuff made.
And the thing is we had so many cool things that we had to pare this drop down time and time again. And there was multiple items where I was like, I really want this in the drop. And it was purely selfish because I wanted it. So I had to all right, I got to take a step out of my own mind for a second. And what do I think they want? And I did not like asking that question.
All right. Once we announce those giveaway winners, we will have to sadly bring the stream to a close because I gotta go take care of my kids before my wife kills me.
That's a lot of murder going on today. I can appreciate that.
It's just the married way, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful. Okay.
All right. While we're finishing up here, is there any space that you would like me to check out that I haven't already run around yet? Is there something I'm missing that I could get into?
There's many spaces. So there's some secret spaces. We can throw them a bone here and show them one of the secret spaces.
Yeah, guide me. I'm in the
You gotta just
Beastmaster
go
area. Okay, we'll
up top where you were.
All right.
Oh no, take a right there.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
No, behind you.
I'm in the elevator. Okay, I'm back down. All right, I'm going back to the Beastmaster cave.
Yeah, so we put a space in there, and Lucas is like, you absolutely have to put a sign there that says, "This is not a secret space.
It's not a secret space.
This is absolutely nothing to see here. Not a secret space."
Yeah.
Okay.
Where'd you go?
All right, I'm up by the Kaguna right now. Kanguna.
Oh, you went. I thought you were in the elevator.
Anguana.
Go back out to the outside.
Okay.
To the anywhere else but here.
All right.
Oh,
when you said wait, I thought I wasn't supposed to jump on the elevator.
You know what? And I'm trying to watch you on the stream, and I got to remember there's a huge delay.
That's all right. All right, I'm taking the elevator up now.
Yeah, you talk, and I'll just listen.
All right, I'm gonna give you play by play. I am now on the surface. And which way should I head? What? Give me a direction here.
All right, you hop out of there. That way is anyways fine.
Okay, I am now away from the Beastmaster. I'm by where we murdered that.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
That little
go behind you.
Little roly poly.
He deserved it. He was asking for it.
Okay.
He was giving you eyes. It was really weird.
Okay, right there. Stop. That mound. There's a secret door behind both of those mounds. Oops. So there's a lot of that Quejian crystal behind those orange mounds over there.
Oh, behind the Bunity.
Yep, behind the Bunity.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
room.
I see. There's an entrance.
That's
here.
kind of the obvious secret room. That's not really a secret.
Oh, okay. This is like standard play fare.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's one behind the other mound back by the tree.
Oh, I can climb this thing here. Oh, there's like an upper room.
Yep. There might be some more of that. Those crystals in there, we have the 40 crystal quest. We had to pare that way down.
Ah, yeah.
There's crystals hiding all over the place in there.
All right. So we're backing out of here. You said there's 2 mounds outside. All right. Is it though with the little land bridge going on?
Yes, to the outside of the land bridge. Yep, just hop over it. There's a secret door.
Oh,
right?
I see. Yep. I see a door. What's in here?
Yeah. So you found it. So I don't know who. Oh yeah, we put little hidden characters all over the map.
Oh, okay.
Just doing nothing but being Tigons.
Blicket Flurm Raxpool. Hidden character.
Perfect. Dude, you even got like the local dialect right.
Yeah, that's the Tigon alien. So he says some stuff. They're just bathing. They're just doing some random bathing in Yakpi. Nothing to see there.
I mean, that's really the way to do it, right? That's
yes.
Anything else down here? This is a little.
No, it's just a little one-off. There's like 6 or 7. There's like 8 other places you can find that are just tucked away in the voxels.
Okay.
In the block.
Now I don't want to put you on the spot, but what would happen if somebody tweeted at Voxel Ocean with screenshots from each of those hidden spots?
Well, I don't know. What would happen? The world would end.
Game over. That's it. No more Tigonia.
No, we assume people are going to find them. The Verified Labs is going to run several different contests.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah, and give away quite a bit of things.
One of the
secret things.
This is a perfect moment to mention that one of the contests or one of the giveaways is it's going to be a very, very real world prize. I can't give away the details around the contest yet, but the end prize for that will be a night out on the town with John Heder and team. So at ThetaCon next year, or the next coming ThetaCon, you will have a dinner with John and the team, a hangout, and a ticket to ThetaCon. So please pay attention to the Tigon Twitter account or join their Discord, because that prize is unfortunately one that we as a team cannot win, and I am super jealous of, because while we've hung out with John multiple times on Zoom, we've never actually hung out with him in person,
Right.
and he is a ton of fun. So I am jealous of whoever ends up winning this one.
Just make sure to pack your fanny pack and chapstick. That's the important bit.
Yes.
That's why
Thank
I brought
you.
up that's why I brought up the fanny pack actually on the Skintar, because for those of you who don't know, Napoleon Dynamite actually started as a short film from I believe the director's it was like his student film, right? He was still in school, I think, when he made that.
I don't know.
And it was called Palooka.
Oh.
And Napoleon Dynamite was not named Napoleon Dynamite yet. I think it was Seth or something like that. You can actually watch the whole thing on YouTube, and I believe I think it's a DVD bonus feature on the Napoleon Dynamite DVD. I remember seeing it a long time ago.
You missed it.
And I'm hopping around, like, not even paying attention, so I don't even I don't even know.
Story. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah. So Palooka is it's black and white. It was shot in like 35 millimeter film, and it's starring John Heder as the same character, just he didn't have the name Napoleon Dynamite yet. And almost every scene from that short film ended up in Napoleon Dynamite. It's just an earlier version of it, almost like a prequel, if you will. And Pedro's character is actually two separate characters who are cousins. So the whole scene of buying a lotto ticket, because obviously the Hispanic kid has like a little wispy mustache, even though he's 16. He was able to buy the lotto ticket for Napoleon. They go to a thrift store and are looking at wigs, and they end up buying the wig, even though there's a really cool fanny pack right there. So yeah, there's a bunch of little, if you're a fan of Napoleon Dynamite, it's a cool little bit of Napoleon Dynamite history that is it's not hidden, but it's probably like lesser known. But yeah, it's called Palooka, which I think is the Spanish word for wig. And yeah, it's just a funny little, it's about 9 minutes long, something like that. So
definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got those winners. Before
All
I
right.
answer the winners, Ed, is there anything else you wanted to throw out there?
No, I want to hear who won.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go.
So we're going to do 3. Winner number 1, a name we all know and love, VVox. Congratulations.
Yeah, VVox.
Winner number, I was very surprised to see that one pop up. Number 2 is a name that's it started coming around a lot lately, a Nuke Skywalker. Congratulations, Nuke, over on Twitch TV. And finally, I mean, when I saw this one pop up, I heard the sound of many toilets flushing, wayward escapades. Congratulations, you won yourself an asset. And she's already messaged me and let me know what she wants. So that one is said and done. To the 3 of you, congratulations. Really happy you were all here today.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Lula. Thank you. They're not here anymore, but thank you to John and Justin for hanging out with us and blessing us with their presence. Lucas and I had a blast today. We've been hyped for this day for a couple weeks now.
Yep.
Yeah. So go play Tigonia. It's on the Sandbox dashboard. Go get some of those cool assets. Leave some for me and Lucas because we want them. And make sure you follow Verified Labs and Voxel Ocean on Twitter. I'm sure there will be announcements and other various things going on and lots of cool news.
So many things are coming in the future, and they're coming very quickly, and they are coming in hot, heavy, and fast. So please pay attention. You will not want to miss what's happening.
Hot, heavy, and fast.
Hot, heavy, and fast, just the way I like it.
Had us make quite a few things, big things. Stadiums and theaters and comedy clubs. There's some big stuff out there that's already built.
All right,
waiting.
Go.
Well, we can't wait. We can't wait to see it. We're pumped. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.